Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, VH1 Hip Hop Honors, the 1990s edition. Let me just jump right into it. I have to say, there was like a feeling of nostalgia as I was watching this, because there's nothing like watching a bunch of people that you grew up on, you know, who may not necessarily be considered mainstream anymore today, but are still alive and still trying to do a little something here and there. It's nothing like watching all those people hit a stage and perform. It just takes you back to an earlier place in time when you just start hearing all kind of songs and stuff that you remember that, you know, you used to party to at recess and stuff like that. So it was really good to kind of watch the show. Overall, the show was all right. I'll give my deeper critiques of the show towards the end, but let me just jump into the actual show now. So Regina Hall was the host. She can do no wrong in my book. She's one of my favorite people. I think she's hilarious. I think she's gorgeous. I like her personality. She's from DC. I live in DC. You know, it's just Regina. I rock with her. But anyway, Missy Elliott opened the show, and I have to be so honest. Missy Elliott is on another level of dopeness. Like, first of all, can we be honest? Missy Elliott's performance at this little tiny program they put together was better than any performance that I saw in the VMAs last month. Like, Missy came out, ate the stage. Like, she performed She's a Bitch, and that's off the Real World album. That's the album that came out after Super Duper Fly, but before Missy So Addictive. It's that album that for some reason is so slept on. It was a really dope album, but I think because Missy So Addictive was such a huge album, and then Under Construction was an even bigger album, and even Super Duper Fly was like her breakthrough entrance into the industry, the Real World kind of gets slept on sometimes. But yeah, I was glad she performed that song. And everything about the performance was just on point. From the visuals, the dancers, the color, like everything. I was like, Missy gets it in, man. Like it was paying homage to the music video with how the staging and the presentation of the performance was. And I mean, she had the choreography, the dancers were doing their things, the lighting was right. Like, Missy just knows what she's doing. Like, there's a standard that she sets for herself when it comes to her music, when it comes to her visual presentations as far as performances and music videos, and even when she tours. Like, Missy gets it in. Missy, you need to go back on tour ASAP. Like, it don't got to be an arena tour, even if you're just doing a big giant amphitheater or something like that. Go on tour. People have been waiting for you, Missy. Like, do something. But yeah, Missy definitely killed. She had the highlight of the whole show for me. That was the say all be all. So I kind of thought the rest of the show would be on that same caliber. Then I forgot it is Missy, so you can't hold the other entertainers to the same caliber as Missy when it comes to performing, because there's going to be some things that are a little different. But overall, I really, really appreciated Missy's performance. She was honored last year when they did it for, you know, women in hip-hop. So this year was the 90s. And so I'm glad they did that. This year's theme was pretty much, you know, just honoring pioneers in hip-hop that contribute something of substance to, you know, hip-hop culture in the 90s. So whether you were a rapper, whether you were a pop or R&B singer, whether you were a music video director, whether you were like a comedian / TV director and creative director, just anything along the lines of that, or a producer, you know, they were trying to pay homage to all those different people. So it was a pretty cool night. Moving on. Oh, and then this is my second favorite part of the whole night. So then they did the whole tribute to the South. And so, you know, you got all the rappers that are from Miami and New Orleans and everything like that. So it's like Master P and Soak the Shocker and Trick Daddy and Trina. And I mean, listen, the playlist I'm going to have on the way to work tomorrow is going to be so lit. Like, I forgot about some of them songs. I was like, oh, it's going to be good. I was already making my playlist as soon as it went to commercial break, because I got a 30-minute commute to work. So we're going to be a little lit when we get to work tomorrow. I'm going to be hyped, all right? But the minute they got to make them say, na 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 na, and you know, man, I was like, oh, that's funny. And it's funny because I was definitely some little kid that grew up in the suburbs, but we definitely, growing up like in the suburbs in the middle of nowhere, you listen to the most ratchet stuff growing up. But yeah, it was definitely good to see that. So like Trina, Trick Daddy, Master P, who definitely was like this just super, super wealthy mogul and everything. It was kind of cool to see all of them. Let me see what else happened. Oh, Escape performed. They did a piece of Just Kicking again. I was like, okay, cool to see the four of them. Somebody needs to tell them, turn Candy's mic up when she's singing low. Like, it's hard to pick up the lower register. Just turn her mic up a bit, man. They do that every time they perform somewhere, and she does just that specific song. Her voice is just always not where it needs to be. And I don't think it's even her at this point. I think it's like, turn the mic up, do something. Because when they did No Scrub, she sounded perfectly fine because she was singing in a different register. But anyway, Escape was always cool to see. I need them to figure out if they're going to tour or not. I know they did like 2 shows, I think, in Michigan, and then I don't know what happened after that. Like, if y'all gonna go on tour, you know, like, I feel like them, maybe SWV, and maybe, I don't know, maybe TLC or somebody, like the 3 of them should do like a, or maybe In Vogue or something, like a ladies night girl group anthem type of tour. I feel like that'll make some serious money. They could probably book arenas if like those 4 groups get together and do some shows. Like, y'all work that out. Call your management, get that together. That's the perfect way for all y'all to have a really nice paycheck and a Christmas bonus this year. Anyway, so then they had honored JD and Master P for like the producers and everything, and you know, the thing that I guess I had with the show as far as the beef was that because they rushed through everything, it's really hard to really see the cultural impact that a lot of these people made, especially somebody like a Jermaine Dupri or a Master P. But these are two people that pretty much put the South on the map. Because if you go back to the 90s, growing up, I mean, there were rappers from all the regions all the time for as long as I can remember. But growing up, it was either, when I was really young, either you were New York or you were kind of LA. And LA wasn't really getting the same respect because everybody in New York was like, we're the originators of hip hop, that's all it is. If you're not from New York, you're not hip hop. And that's what it was. And so with the emergence of the South kind of arising, and then of course the West Coast really started popping and jumping by then because you had like Death Row Records and everything like that, it's kind of like, it was this era of just hip hop starting to become universally appealing across the entire country, and people were just popping up all over the place. So even like when they did the whole Sir Mix-a-Lot Baby Got Back, which is kind of like a song people don't take seriously, but hell, that put Seattle on the map in '92, so temporarily. So things like that, it's just kind of cool that they honor people. So it was cool JD got his just due, because he's definitely responsible for the success of a lot of people, a lot of huge names, whether that's like TLC, he plays a role in that, or Chris Cross, the things he did later with like Usher, Mariah, or Ghost Town DJs, or Escape, and yeah, I don't know if you remember, they used to do like the So Def All-Stars, or So Def Presents, it was these little albums that used to come out like every year with a bunch of So Def productions, that was a thing. And then when you look at somebody like Master P, who not only did music, but he ventured into movies, because he had so many little DVDs and stuff coming out all the time, and you had No Limit movement and everything like that. Like, just, Master P was a mogul. He thought bigger than just the music. He got the music, and then he brought his own people from home and everything like that, built an entire just establishment. And so it's dope to kind of give all those people their just due, but I feel like the show, because it was only 1 hour long, it was like everybody got like a quick rush of a tribute. Like, here you go, here you go, here you go. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Good night. We got to pay for these this airtime, so let's get some more commercials in. It's my only beef I had. There was a section where Tiana Taylor, I guess she was paying homage to the dancers, or the dancers of the 90s, which was, I mean, it was alright. I don't think we really needed that part. I like Tiana Taylor, though. I want her to win. So I need her to get a real label that will actually support her and push her out there, because she's definitely very talented. Like, she can sing, she can rap, she can dance, she can do all kinds of things, she can act. But for some reason, she's not as big as I think she should be. Like, she definitely, I feel like her time is coming, but she definitely deserves more success than what she has right now. But I like her because she's very appreciative of what's come before her. Like, she knows her history in music, and she pays homage to the people that came before her, and she's not somebody that's trying to come in and smash over the legacies of other people before her. She's more so like, I like to celebrate who came before me, and I want to carry that legacy. And that's always respectable with a lot of like newer entertainers, because some people come in the game and they want to have a million different titles and accolades, and I'm like, you got to earn your place. And so I feel like right now she's in the process of earning her place, but damn, she's been in it for like 10 years. When y'all gonna let the girl get her spot? Anyway, they honored Martin Lawrence, for the show Martin, which I will say I think is definitely warranted and deserved. Martin is a unique show because, one, it's actually one of my favorite sitcoms, but it did catch a lot of flack because of some of the imaging that used to be on the show. A lot of people really didn't like because it was so stereotypical. But then on the other end, I always looked at it as, well, I feel like it's reflective of just, some of our communities and some of the people we know. That's why I think Martin was always such a funny show, because literally every character is somebody you could think of in real life that you knew. And what I liked about Martin was, like, Martin was so unorthodox as far as a comedy. When you talk about cold humor, he brought it to an extent that you weren't seeing before in other sitcoms and everything like that, and he made the characters so relatable. Just, it's a really, really entertaining show, and I think that's why even 20 plus years later, it's still just as funny as it was when it first came out. Like, when they showed them reruns, I'd be on my couch cackling down, right? Don't let it be the episode with, where Biggie was on there and Pam and Gina were fighting to do the background vocalist, or the episode where Martin goes boxing, he loses and his whole head is swollen. Like, yo, I can't. Anyway, let me get back to the main point. But I like how they incorporated that, and how the Martin Show played a role into the whole element of hip-hop culture and how it became something that was mainstream. Let me see. They had another portion. Ty Dolla $ign, he did the Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. I don't know why they had auto-tune in the guy's mic, because he can actually sing. So I was like, why is there auto-tune in the mic? Because you can hear it. And I'm like, not to go there, but this is how we do it. It's not really anything too vocally challenging to sing. And Ty Dolla $ign pretty much can sing very well. So I'm like, y'all should just let him, I don't know if that was his team that did that, but he didn't really need the auto-tune. He sounded perfectly fine without it. Or the pitch correction, whatever they put in his mic. And so, let me see. And then Candy and Tiny did No Scrubs. I thought it was kind of cool. They tried to put on kind of like an equivalent to the outfits that TLC wore in the video. I like that Tiny's like performing again. It seemed like she was not confident for the longest, and now with Escape kind of reuniting, Tiny's kind of opening back up, because Tiny can actually sing. People kind of forget, because a lot of people only know Tiny from, you know, her shows on VH1 and not really, you know, being in Escape. Same thing for Candy. You know, with the different generations that are coming up, you have a lot of people who are coming up and they're not familiar with somebody like a Candy, and they don't know that somebody like a Candy was out in like 93 or 94. You know, they know Candy from Housewives. And so, you know, it's kind of cool to see a lot of these people kind of going back to their original roots when it came to music. Warren G, classic. You can never hate on Regulate. He still looks exactly the same from like 20 years ago. Regulate's definitely a classic, especially if you were from the West Coast. Like, that was, yeah, they played that all the time. Let me see. They had, Remy Ma and Fat Joe. You know, they performed Big Pun. Still Not a Player, everything like that. That was a bop in 99, by the way. Because remember, Joe had his version, I Don't Want to Be a Player. It was like a nice little R&B, smooth, subtle song. And then Big Pun came and they remixed it and collabed, and it was like, okay, they played that on the radio a whole lot too. Anyway, then can we talk about Pharrell? Now, if you follow me, you know I'm very, very, very socially conscious on this channel. I talk about a lot of things that piss a lot of people off, and I get called all kind of names, and I'm always accused of being like a race baiter and stuff, and really I'm not. I'm just speaking truth and talking about the world from a structural standpoint when it comes to race. And Pharrell is somebody that I have been a heavy critic of for a very long time. I love him as a producer. I think his sound is dope. He's just very creative, but he would always get on my nerves when it came to anything regarding black people, because for me, he kind of identified himself as, you know, when they were talking about, I'm a new black, and he was one of those people that never would talk about race, never criticize something like, you know, white supremacy or anything like that. He'd always stay quiet and say, let's all just sing Kumbaya and not address the issue. But he came out there today and he did this whole spill about, you know, I just want y'all to know there's a lot going on, this, that, and the third, and including white people. Listen, don't think just because you look like the people that are screwing everybody over that you're not exempt from what's going on. I was like, oh, Pharrell, I got deep. Okay, all right, Pharrell, I almost like you again. So, cool. So that made me respect him a lot more, because he's definitely been somebody I've kind of criticized. I think he got about 2 or 3 videos from me at some point where I just addressed some of the things that he said that I didn't agree with at all. Because I think sometimes, once you come into a little bit of money sometimes you just do things that people be like, what you doing? So I'm glad that he's coming back to reality, and he was bold enough to do a statement like that on this kind of show, because hell, somebody needs to hear that message you put out there. So kudos to Pharrell. They honored Hype Williams for you know, the music videos and everything he's directed. And when I tell you this man has a catalog of videos, if I had a favorite Hype Williams video, it's a mix of a few. I think anything he did with Missy was already dope. I like TLC's No Scrubs video, mainly because they used to be at one time like my favorite like girl group growing up. And so when I moved back to America from Italy, No Scrubs had just came out. And when I say they played that video so much, it was like the summer of '99 when I got back. No Scrubs had been out, but they were still playing it in like June. And I mean, you would turn from one channel, you turn from BET, it would be on. Then you go to MTV, it was still on. You go to VH1, it was on. You go to another channel that's not even a music channel, and they're playing the promo for the album. Like, that video was on every 5 seconds. Like that, and like 702's When My Girls Out was on every 5 minutes, and Will Smith Wild Wild West, which I know is a little corny, but I don't care. That crap, them 3 videos, summer of '99, every 5 minutes. So that was a dope one. Anything he did with Busta Rhymes was dope. Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See is probably one of my favorites as well. That was already a dope song. The video was dope. What's It Gonna Be with Janet was a dope video. I even like what he did with Robin Thicke. The Wanna Love You Girl, the Wanna Love You Girl, Wanna Love You Girl. Like, Hype Williams is very underrated, but he definitely is a pioneer when it comes to hip-hop videos. Because, I mean, everything from like California Love to, God, he has so many videos that he's done with so many people. So he's definitely, you know, respected. And so it's definitely a kudos to him for everything he's done for people in hip-hop, especially in the 90s. In the early 2000s. And then, you know, they had a tribute to Prodigy, which was pretty cool. I'm trying to remember if Phife Dawg got one last year. Phife Dawg from Tribe Called Quest. I can't remember. But either way, because when you want to talk about lyrics, Phife Dawg was one to really be reckoned with as well. But anyway, Prodigy, you know, they did the tribute to him. Lil' Kim came and did her bit and everything like that. And so it was cool to kind of see that, because not a lot of people really gave a lot of attention to what happened with Prodigy. I'm like, dang, it's kind of weird how when some celebrities die, you know, if they weren't as commercial as others, their deaths are almost forgotten aside from the people who are like really diehard fans, or people who are kind of in that underground movement. So I'm glad that VH1 put that in the forefront, because a lot of people don't know who Prodigy is. A lot of people have never heard of Mobb Deep. A lot of people have never heard of a lot of these acts. You talk about Five Dog, most people have never heard of, well, not most people, but there's a lot of people who've never heard of Tribe Called Quest. And so, you know, and when you just look at, I don't know, weird thing, it's so crazy how in hip hop things just connect and link to everything. So I did the article one time for Cinematic Magazine, and I was writing about how A Tribe Called Quest just contributed so much to music in general, random thought. And so it's like, you look at somebody like Q-Tip, he hopped on Janet's Velvet Rope project, and he had Got Till It's Gone, and then Old Boy Muhammad, you know, after the group had kind of split, he somehow got in the mix with Raphael Sadiq and Don Robinson, and they started Lucy Pearl, and then Five Dog, you know, he was on Crazy Sexy Cool album with TLC. It's like, it's just crazy how hip-hop, people try to discredit it as a genre of music and rap music, but there's so many elements that hip-hop plays into music overall. Let me get to my main point. I'm over here ranting. How much time I got? I'm talking too much. I'm gonna shut this down in like a few more minutes. Oh, and then, you know, they gave props to Mariah Carey for pretty much also being someone who helped to bridge the gap between like pop and R&B with hip-hop. And I will say, I think Mariah was one of those people, but there were a lot of people as well. I think just mainly because Mariah was the biggest act that was doing it, she gets a lot of credit. But you have to also go back, like, Jody Watley, in my opinion, I think might have been one of the very first like R&B / pop acts to really incorporate like hip hop music. So when she had like the song Friends with Rakim, or was that Eric B? I can't remember. I think it's Rakim. You know, friends, dun 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 dun, friends won't be around, that song. So that was kind of huge for the time period that when that came out. Like, okay, and then you had, you know, like, I think there was a lot of people. The New Jack Swing era was pretty much an entire era where R&B and hip hop just met, and it just meshed well. So all those Teddy Riley productions, some of those earlier Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis productions, so something like, you know, Janet's All Right with Heavy D on it, or a lot of those guy songs, or even Bobby Brown, hell, yeah, Bobby rapping and everything like that, or Tevin Campbell with Just Ask Me To, and it had, what's his name? Oh, God, I can't think of the guy's name. You know his name. Shoot him so mad I can't think of it. But anyway, look the song up, Just Ask Me To. It was on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack, and yeah, but overall, I like the show. I just wish it was more than an hour long. The thing about the 90s is the 90s was such a pivotal moment in culture. For black culture, white people, as far as what they were doing, hip-hop culture, pop culture. Like, the 90s, in my opinion, was just that last pivotal era of just creative genius going on. Like, it was just, everybody was hungry for it, and everything wasn't so bought out. I think that creative element still exists today, but because music and film and television are so commercialized and bought out now, you just don't get that raw, genuine appeal that you used to get in the 90s. And another thing about the 90s was because there were so many record labels, a lot of artists were able to get shine because, you know, there was like a million record labels. It was like you had Arista Records, and then there was a Face Records, and then there was Giant Records, and RCA, and MCA, and Bad Boy, and Interscope, and Sony, and Warner Brothers, and it was like label after label after label after label, and A&M, and Virgin, and Capitol, and so you had all these record labels, and so everybody could get their fair bit of shine. Today, it's like 5 record labels out, okay? It's pretty much either you're on Epic, you're on RCA, or you're on Interscope, or you're some kind of other little bootleg underground label that's associated with one of those main 3 and like 2 others. And so everybody now is like they're all on the same labels, and it's all oversaturated. People don't get the same funding anymore. It's just, I don't know. But long story short, I just wish it was a little bit longer, because I think to really give the 90s its just due, you need to do like a full program. I don't know what's in their budget, but hell, they're making enough views from Love and Hip Hop, so they got the money to do it. I would definitely do like a 2.5-hour actual special, where the people could have actually had full performances. It was cool to see like Trina and all of them perform, but they all performed for like a minute, and then they had to get off the stage for the next person. And so for that, I was kind of like, I think Missy might have been one of the only people who got to do their entire song, which is probably why her performance was a lot better than a lot of the other people's. But I do appreciate VH1 for, paying homage to the 90s. I will say of the 3 music channels that don't play music, VH1 is that one that still tries to an extent to keep the history there. You know what I mean? Pretty much a lot of what I learned from music, I learned from watching VH1 as a kid. So all those shows like Before They Were Rock Stars, and I think Biorhythm was MTV, but like Behind the Music and Pop-Up Video and a lot of the different shows that they had, I learned a lot of stuff from, pretty much all the genres, whether it was rock, pop, country, R&B, hip-hop. It was like you just learned so much. And so VH1, I do appreciate them for that. I wish they would kind of keep some of that going. So yeah, overall it was a pretty good show, and just as I reiterated earlier, like I just think that it's really tough to try to pay homage to the 90s in a 1 hour special, which was really probably about 40 minutes after you took away the commercials. The 90s was such a pivotal moment in culture as far as music and everything else. You can't honor it in just an hour. I feel like really VH1, MTV, BET, hell, they all owned by Viacom. The three of them can get together and make a big super special. There should definitely be like a 2.5 hour type special dedicated to the 90s or acts from the 90s if they really want to do it correctly. They're not gonna do it, but it would be great to see something like that because there's just so many people who contributed, and a lot of people were left out of this program. And you know, I think they got a lot of the heavy hitters, but there's a lot of people who were left out. And I mean, it is what it is. It's the fact that they're even getting this time is cool because at this day and age, we're in this era where people are all about the now. Who gives an F about what happened in the past? I just want it now. I want it instantly. That's kind of the era we're living in at the moment. So any kind of recollection or any kind of homage to the past is always a good thing in my opinion. And so that's my 2 cents. I think I enjoyed the show. I like, if you want it just for the nostalgia of seeing a lot of the people, you'll enjoy it. If you're really trying to, you know, get you that experience that's just going to be this great visual you know, representation of these great performances and live bands and pyrotechnics and all that stuff, you're not really going to get all of that. You'll get a piece of it. By the way, Pastor Monica was there. You know, she had on her church suit with the blonde hair. They could have had Monica do something because even though she was not a hip-hop artist, she definitely was somebody who was saturated in the hip-hop culture coming out. Like, she was on Rowdy Records with Dallas Austin. Like, she definitely could have had some kind of part in this thing, but it is what it is. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Oh, by the way, my album's out. If you'd like to check it out, it's on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere that has music. Hell, you can even Shazam me now. It's called Symphonic Euphoria. Some of the content from it is on my channel. Check it out if you want. If not, it's cool. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.